Good morning, Smith Cotton High School geometry students. This is Friday, November 13th. And for those of you who are at home or just need a little extra reference, we're going to look at our vocabulary for today. One thing that we will be doing is classifying triangles by sides and angle measures. These are descriptive names. We're not going to get specific as far as exactly what the measurement is of the angles or the lengths of the sides, but using adjectives to describe the triangle so that we kind of have a visual representation of it in our head without looking at it. So if we're describing with angle measure, that's the first ones we're going to look at. These are all by angle measure, or the size of the angles. There are four names: acute, right, obtuse, and equiangular. And you will need to know and understand the vocabulary so that when we use it in class, you'll have a mental image of what we're talking about. So first of all, an acute triangle. Reminder, the word acute means less than 90 degrees. Cannot equal 90 degrees, but is less than 90 degrees. An acute triangle is a triangle that has all three angles measuring less than 90. So there are no large angles, there are no right angles. All three angles less than 90 degrees. If one of the angles is a right angle, or in other words, measures 90 degrees, that's what a right angle is, measures 90 degrees, then you have a right triangle. If you look at the picture, I think it'll be obvious to you why you can't have more than one 90-degree angle in a triangle. The two sides, or all three sides, will not close up if you have more than one, so you can only have one angle that's a right angle in it. The other two will be acute. But by saying right triangle, then we have a visual image of that right angle in our head. If none of the angles are right and none are acute, then that means there's going to be one of them that is larger than 90, and that is what the word obtuse means. It means greater than 90 degrees. And if one of the angles in that triangle is an obtuse angle, then we're going to call this an obtuse triangle. Even though you have a couple of acute angles in there, the visual image of opening that one angle up to where it's larger than 90 gives us a better idea of what the triangle looks like. So acute, all three angles are less than 90. Right triangle, you've got one right angle. Obtuse means one angle in that triangle is greater than 90. The fourth name is a specific name for a specific kind of acute triangle. If all three angles are less than 90 and they all happen to measure exactly the same, and that's what those arcs in the three corners mean, all three angles are congruent, then we're going to call it an equiangular. EQUI is a prefix for equal, and the angular part means angle. So equal angles, equiangular. It's a more specific name for this particular kind of acute triangle. So four names. If we want to describe the triangle using lengths of sides, adjectives, it's part of the names, without having the exact measures, then we have three names that go with those. The first one is scalene triangle, and that simply means that none of the sides have the same measure. None of the sides have the same measure. No sides are congruent. The word isosceles is implying that you have two sides are congruent, and I will tell you, there are textbooks that say at least two sides congruent. And it's okay to think of it that way, because here's what's going to happen. If there are two sides congruent, we're going to call it an isosceles triangle. And by the way, folks, it doesn't matter which two sides. This one, I have one on the bottom, that's called the base, and one of the sides that is inclining up. It can be the two sides that are coming from the top peak down. It doesn't matter which two sides. Any two sides the same measure. And the little tick marks, or you can call them hash marks or tick marks, they are marking the sides that are the same measure. If we have three sides, we have a better name for it. Like we had a better name for three angles being congruent, was equiangular. If we have three sides the same, it's equi for equal. Lateral means sides, so equilateral triangle means all three sides are congruent. All three sides, a more descriptive name. In one part of today's assignment, it's a Delta Math assignment, I'm going to have you look at pictures, and you will pick one name from the angle measure and one name from the side measure, just to practice the names and make sure that you have them. Good luck.